Hello everyone, hope you're all having a wonderful day. I'm here with a different kind of video where I go over the Season 4 meta for Overwatch 2. And this tier list is mostly for like across most of the ranks, but mostly applied to the higher ranks. So if you're like lower rank and see this, you can kind of get an understanding of what heroes are better than others, but you know, lower ranks have their heroes that are better in low elo. So we'll just go over the tiers real fast. S tier is meta. These are heroes that are just like the best of the best in a way. Not like a free win, but also like if you know how to play this hero, you will just be able to do a lot better than most of the heroes. A is very good and ranked. These heroes are great in their own respective right, and they're really good at what they do. You know, they're good. They're really good. Just keep it simple. B is pretty good, but there's better options. These are mostly heroes that are like, they're good in their own right, but again, there's just better choices, so yeah. C is niche, but almost always not ideal. These are heroes where it's like, they're not bad necessarily, but they're not good either. Like, they're kind of in that limbo of, if you're a one-trick, you can climb to like the higher ranks and do fine, but for most players, they're not like the greatest. D is really bad, but since it's ranked, it could work. These heroes are kind of just really not good right now, for one reason or another. However, since it's ranked, you can make it work 100%. Because frankly, across all the ranks, ranked is kind of a clown fiesta right now. So you can make almost anything work. You just have to know what you're doing with said heroes. That doesn't mean, you know, literally play any hero or whatever. That just means, you know, sometimes these heroes can help you win if you pick them. And then there's Please Help This Hero. These are heroes you should just not touch with a 10-foot pole. Avoid at all costs and wait until they are not terrible. So, getting right into it, we'll put Bastion in B tier. Bastion's pretty good right now. He's really good in brawl comps. His turret mode is great for shredding tanks, and that's mostly the reason you play Bastion in the first place. He's good against heroes like Reinhardt, Winston, frankly, like every other tank, barring D.Va and Sigma. Those are the two he kind of doesn't do too hot against, because D.Va is a much harder counter to Bastion, and Sigma is a counter to Bastion. Like, D.Va's a hard counter, and then Sigma's a counter. Like, there's levels to it, you know? With D.Va, it's like, she just gets right in your face, eats all your bullets from turret form, and then just shotguns you in the face until you're dead. And then Sigma is a similar story, but Sigma can outrange you, he can outpoke you, he can wait out your turret form with his shield, and he also has a kinetic grasp where he can just absorb your damage, and then just use that to play LOS. So, he's good, but he's not like crazy good. We're moving to Cassidy. Cassidy got some pretty significant changes in Season 4. His HP got reduced from 225 to 200. His magnetic grenade no longer does 131 damage, it does 120 flat. So his combination of a body shot and magnetic grenade doesn't one-shot 200 HP heroes anymore. And now the combo can still be pulled off, you just need to land a headshot specifically and magnetic grenade. So yeah, he's still good, don't get me wrong, because his range buff a little while ago, it definitely makes him, like, he has his place, and he just pumps out good damage. So like, he's good, but he's not like crazy good. D.Va. We're moving D.Va in A, because she's just so versatile, and she just does like everything pretty much. She's wonderful at clearing high ground, she's great at contesting flying heroes, she's good at helping heal for your backline, she's good for diving specific targets. She's very versatile in what she can do, and there's a lot of different playstyles to D.Va. Just know when to play what playstyle and when to switch it up. Hanzo's pretty good. Put him in A tier. He's good right now because he can one-shot from long range. He also has good burst damage with his storm bows. He has wall hacks with his sonic arrow. And yeah, I mean, he's consistently inconsistent, if that makes sense. Like, You do need to learn the projectile arc of his arrows, but when you do, you can just delete people. Also, before I forget, I want to go over everyone's ultimates real fast before I move on. D.Va's ultimate, great for clearing space and, you know, great for getting people off the objective. Dragon Strike, kind of a similar thing to D.Va, where you're using it more so for clearing space rather than getting kills. But his ultimate is also very easy to just step to the side of. Like, it can catch people off guard, sure, same with D.Va Bomb. But it's an okay ultimate. It's not crazy good, it's not crazy terrible either. Bastion ult's a complete joke. Honestly, you're almost never using Bastion's ultimate unless it's like to get people off the payload for like 3 seconds. But even then, they can kind of like just step 2 steps to the side and live one of the bombs. So if you do plan on using it to secure a kill, you want to space out your Bastion ultimates instead of just having 3 just sit there all at the same time. High Noon's also a terrible ultimate. It's so buggy right now, man. Like, there's so many abilities that could just cancel the ultimate. Like, not even like stop High Noon as a whole. It's just like if you fire and they just don't register that they got hit. Like if Sojourner's mid-slide, Mercy's mid-guardian angel, Tracer mid-blink, etc, etc. High Noon is just not good. It also really doesn't help that you are quite literally a sitting duck. We're moving on to Genji now. Genji, we're putting him in C tier. He's just really niche right now. He has a lot of noticeable counters, like Pharah, Symmetra, Mei, you know, all this fun stuff. Winston, like he's good in like certain like team comps if you're gonna like dive and such, but there's better dive heroes. Dry Blade as a whole is really bad, and if you are using Dry Blade and you get a kill, great, good for you, but most of the time you're not really gonna get a kill with Dry Blade. You're either gonna force out a ton of cooldowns, make people back away, or best case scenario with Dry Blade, you force a defensive ultimate from one of their supports, i.e. Lucio Beat or Zenyatta Transcendence. However, Nanoblade is scary. Nanoblade can easily win team fights, just free team wipe most of the time. There are a lot of scenarios where Nanoblade can just go kaput and you just die in 2 seconds, but if you have like practice Genji's Blade a lot, you can easily just clear a team with Nanoblade. Dry Blade, not as much. Alright, Junkrat. Junkrat also going in C tier because his one-shot combo got nerfed. I think it was like the beginning of Season 3, I could be wrong, but it was around that time area. His Conk Mine now does 100 damage at most instead of 120. So yeah, you can't really do the Mine primary fire combo as easily. You can still do it, don't get me wrong. It's still very possible to get the one-shot combo. You just need to be point blank in their face now, instead of it being like farther away. Like Junkrat still can do what he does really well. He just kind of sucks against flying heroes and ranged heroes. Riptire is a solid ultimate. It's great for either getting a pick or forcing a defensive ultimate. Similar to D.Va Bomb in a way, but you can kind of just get a better picks for it, if that makes sense. The two main playstyles of Junkrat are Spam Rat and Flank Rat. Spam Rat is a lot more common in the lower ranks because a lot of people will just think, oh, I just play Junkrat. I sit in the choke and just hold primary fire and they just walk into my mines. And that happens mostly in the low ranks because people don't know how to turn their monitors on. However, when you start climbing up and getting to like the higher ranks, people are going to stop walking into your mines and they will realize, oh, there is a Junkrat, let's go a different route, because he will just be spamming the choke. Thus, Flank Rat was born, and you just go on the flank, one-shot combo squishy, and get, like, I was gonna say either trade or get out, but realistically, you're probably gonna have a second mine to be able to create distance with yourself. So, most high elo Junkrats are mostly just Junkrat specialists. You don't really see people just going Junkrat, so he's not like the greatest, but he has his niche, which is, you know, his whole thing. Lucio. I'm gonna put Lucio in B tier. Lucio's pretty solid right now. He's really good into rush comps. He's solid with dive, or rush/brawl comps. Like he has his uses. Speed is very, very vital to his kit. Honestly, speed is like the only reason we play Lucio. His healing output's a complete joke. It's like 2 healing per second, or it might as well be. But you mostly play Lucio for speed. Like, You mostly play Lucio when you have a Reinhardt, Jungle Queen, Zarya. You mostly play it with those heroes. You help speed that tank in so they can close the distance and they can get in their faces and such. But there's a lot of things that can kind of just stop Lucio from doing what he does. Like, he mostly stuns and hacks Sombra specifically. Since Sombra's like really, really good right now, Lucio's not doing too hot as a whole. But Lucio, he's still good at what he does. If you want to support, that can like help out a lot. I mean, if you're a Lucio player, go for it. But as a whole, he's kind of like a maybe choice. You know what I mean? Like, he's good, and Beat is a solid ultimate. It's not crazy good because the amount of times I've seen Ajax beats happen is crazy. Lucio's he's good. I'm gonna put Mei in A tier. Mei is very, very good right now. Mei is actually scary because they keep micro buffing her like every season or something. They added like the cast time for Blizzard was increased a little while ago. So yeah. And also, Ice Wall is a really, really good ability. You can easily just use it for, it has like so many good uses too. You can just like cut an enemy off, either from like engaging or disengaging. You can use it to get high ground for yourself. You can use it to create space between you and the enemy so you can fall back and gain resources back. Ice Wall is the best part of Mei's kit. Cryo Freeze is pretty solid, but you know, since you are not moving at all, you kind of become a, like, fodder. But it's solid for stall. And then Mei's Primary Fire, I don't know what they were thinking with this, honestly. Like, just, it's not even, like, the damage output that's, like, that's what makes Mei's Primary Fire so infuriating to play against. It's the fact that it slows you down. It's just, like, it slows you down so much that most heroes just can't really get away. There are heroes that can, like, you know, if you Tracer Blink away or whatever it may be, or Genji Dash away or whatever. But most, like, honestly, most mobility heroes kind of just get rolled by Mei, i.e. Doomfist and Wrecking Ball. Those are the two tanks that struggle the most against Mei because they slow them down so heavily. You know, since both those tanks are actually pretty solid right now, Mei's in turn pretty okay in ranked. I'm gonna move Mercy to the A tier. Mercy is pretty good right now. They reverted some changes that she had from season 3 in the beginning of season 4, so she doesn't do the whole increased healing under half HP anymore, and they increased the Guardian Angel cooldown. But honestly, her damage boost and her res have just not been touched at all, and those are what make Mercy so good, so frustrating to play against. If you've ever played against a damage boosted hit scan or a pocketed Pharah, it's just, it's rough to go against. Like, especially if the hit scan just hits their shots consistently, or the Pharah just picks off someone like that. It is not ideal to play against. And it's just like a lot of value with Mercy, because A, damage boost is just, you just damage boost somebody, and if they hit their shots, awesome. If you don't, find someone else to damage boost. And then res is literally just a free undo button, so yeah. But most importantly, I want to point out, with Mercy, you really want to prioritize damage boosting over healing 24/7. Mercy's healing output is really not that great, so this is more so for the lower rank players. Stop heal botting on Mercy. Her healing output is not as great as you think it is, and if you get high healing output at the end of the game, like, oh, but I have 11k healing, well, I was healing so much. You are only healing on Mercy. You're not doing anything else. If you're gonna heal bot, don't play Mercy, play other supports. You mostly play Mercy for the damage boost. Yeah, she's really good right now. Not like the best support in the game, but very, very good. We're gonna move on to Pharah now. Oh, also Valkyrie. Valkyrie's really good. It's just like a free team damage booster, free team healing. So, and also a lot of mobility for you. Pharah, I'm gonna put her in B tier. Pharah is pretty good. She does have her hard counters, mostly being hit scans and Diva. I mean, Diva's technically a hit scan, but I was talking about hit scan DPS. Hit scan DPS, hit scan supports, and Diva. Those are like the biggest counters for Pharah. Pharah by herself isn't crazy good, but Pharah with a Mercy Pocket is very, very good. It's kind of a similar situation to Genji with Nanoblade, where the hero by themselves isn't crazy good, but add, you know, a second hero to it, and they just become very, very powerful, feeling unstoppable in a way. But she's good. She's basically just better Junkrat, because she could fly. Flying is also, you know, like, her best thing. Kind of. It's mostly just the rockets. Barrage is a joke of an ultimate. It's good if you're like going on flanks and catch someone off guard. You know, just like fly above them, and Barrage. Also, with Pharah, you always want to fire at least one rocket before Barrage. So it's rocket, and then you rocket Barrage. This is kind of old information at this point, but to newer Overwatch players, it might not be. So, neat little tip. Reaper. Reaper is going in C tier because he's not that good. He's just, his whole shtick is that he's a close-range hero, and he's great in brawl comps, don't get me wrong, or he's good in brawl comps, but if you're gonna run a brawl comp, you almost always want to run Cassidy over Reaper, because Cassidy, he can play from farther back, and he can also do more consistent damage, and sure, you can get the one-shot or the two-shot on Reaper, but, you know, Cassidy is just a lot more consistent. Also, Reaper's ultimate is really bad. It's good for if you're like coming from the top ropes basically and just jumping somebody, but if you're gonna like Wraith in, like you're just making yourself completely telegraphed of like, oh, I'm gonna death blossom, so their Ana's gonna sleep you, you're gonna get antied, you're gonna get discord, you're just gonna get everything thrown into you, and you're just gonna die in 2 seconds. And, you know, since Reaper's a close range hero, his biggest weakness is range, so heroes like Widowmaker, Cassidy, Hanzo, they just can handle him very well. I'm gonna move Ryan also into C tier because Ryan, he got nerfed in season 4. His health went down. Well, his white health went up, but his armor went down, and his total health pool decreased from 625 to 600. And I know it doesn't sound like a big deal, but it kind of is, because it kind of definitely not as tanky as you were in season 3. So he also just gets blown up. Like Reinhardt can just get deleted by, say, Zenyatta, Ana, Roadhog, and just, you know, Ramatra even. Ramatra is crazy. Not crazy, but like, Ramatra's pretty solid right now. Yeah, just the fact that Ryan has just like such hard counters for, you know, what he does. And also, one of Ryan's biggest problems is that he can't really do too much at once. You know, he has a shield, right? Like other tank heroes have shields. Zig has a shield, Ram has a shield, etc, etc. But with Ryan, it's like you either shield or swing. You can't really do too much at once. Compared that to Sigma, who can put up his shield and use his primary fire, accretion, and honestly his ultimate as well, his kinetic grasp, etc, etc. Ramatra even can put up a shield, do primary fire, and you can also use Nemesis form. So Ryan he's not like terrible, but he just struggles a lot because of how he is as a hero, and just also the fact that you kind of need to be at point blank range to hit them also really does not help out a lot. Oh, also Earth Shatter it's a good ultimate. It's a solid ultimate. You can easily like solo a team with Shatter and maybe like a Nano Boost or something, which I guess wouldn't be a solo, but you know what I mean. Hog. I'm putting Hog in D tier. I was originally gonna have him in the bottom tier, please help this hero, but I mean, he has some uses. He's pretty good as a counterpick tank hero, or like let's say Wrecking Ball, Doomfist, Ramatra, whatever it may be. The reason he's so low is because his one-shot combo got nerfed like really badly, to the point where you can still get the one-shot off, it's just really hard to do. Hog's viability just plummeted after the mid-season patch of season 2. Whole Hog, honestly, is not even that bad of an ultimate. It's great for getting people out of the way. It's honestly even fine for securing kills if you're in, like, a very tight area. Like, let's say you're on Juggertown, and you're on Juggertown point A, and you're at, the little inside part. If you're in, like, that room underneath where the Mega Health Pack is, you can just Whole Hog somebody into the corner, and they just crumble. I'm going to move Soldier into B tier. Soldier he's solid. He has a lot of mobility. That's kind of what one of his biggest strengths is, the fact that he can go on flanks very easily. His damage output is pretty consistent. You know, he has a 6-second cooldown with his rockets. His recoil is very easy to get the hang of. He's not terrible, but he's not like the best hit scan right now. He's solid, you know. Visor is kind of an easy ultimate to use, just it's aimbot, you know. Sim. I think Symmetra is going in the A tier, because Symmetra is honestly not bad right now. Like, she's kind of a slept-on hero, and not a lot of people play her because she does have her counters, but she's really good with either like racking up damage with her beam, which honestly is really good against D.Va and Reinhardt specifically, and Sigma as well. She's good against those tanks because the beam can just rack up very quickly, and since her beam goes through defense matrix and kinetic grasp, it's pretty good for that. Her wall is a very fast building ultimate that you can actually use like within like a team fight and a half, pretty much, or honestly like in one team fight. While it's a pretty solid ultimate, it's not like crazy good, but it's just good for like just having temporary cover. But one of Symmetra's like selling points is her teleport. The best part of her kit is pretty much her teleporter because you can coordinate so many crazy things. It has so many like really good uses. Like you can TP bomb somebody, you can use the teleporter and then follow it up with like one of your teammates' abilities, such as Grip Tire or Diva Bomb. You can use it to go on flanks, you can use it to get to point faster. Like you're on Lijiang Tower Night Market, you can use it to get to there's a TP spot at the beginning of the map, or like towards the beginning of the map, right before I guess the first line of sight would be. You just teleport right on top of the point and then drop, and then you're already on point. But there's a lot of different uses for Symmetra. She actually has a really good win rate around, but people just don't play her a lot. But the people that do, they're pretty much Symmetra one-tricks or Symmetra specialists. They are pretty solid with the hero. So you gotta respect a solid Symmetra, all that fun stuff. Torb is honestly not bad either. I'm gonna put him in A tier too. Torbjorn, like Symmetra, his turret is very good for like either distracting the enemy or getting like cheeky off angles, moving attention away from your team so that they have to shoot the turret and then you can go for you. Or if you're in like bronze and such, they can just plop the turret in the middle of the open and people will just walk into it. Using his primary fire, it does take a lot of practice to get used to because it's an arch like Hanzo, but it's a little more wonky, I guess you could say. I'm not sure how to word it properly, but his primary fire definitely does take a lot of getting used to. He's also pretty solid up close because he has a shotgun secondary fire, so no, that's nothing to scoff at. Molten Core is honestly not a terrible ultimate either because it's really good for denying space and just clearing areas. But yeah, Torbjorn, very, very solid right now. Nothing to scoff at, a good Torb can definitely get it. Tracer. Honestly, Tracer is our first S tier hero. She's very, very good right now. Tracer is probably the best DPS right now in like top 500 GM Masters. She's just really, really good right now. She's very consistent with what she does. She can control flanks, she can go on flanks, she can farm tanks to an extent. Tracer is she's just that hero. She's that DPS that is just like, if you know how to play this hero, you're gonna farm. You are going to farm people. Like getting the text with like melee recall, all that fun stuff. She's just really, really good right now. She's seeing a lot of play in, again, high elo and Overwatch League and professional play and such. A good Tracer can just steamroll, just cook you alive. I'm gonna move Widow into A as well. Widow is pretty good on Widow maps. Wow, who would have guessed? Most notably, Junkertown, Havana, Rialto even to an extent. Widow is just really good on these kinds of maps where there's just really, really long sight lines and just open space because she's a sniper and she kind of wants to sit far away from them. So yeah, she is counterable though. You kind of have to go with a couple of heroes in order to really take her down. But yeah, Widow's kind of like a hit your shots kind of hero. Yeah, if you're not hitting the one shot on Widow, or if you're not like double body shotting somebody to kill them and getting the picks, Widow's kind of a flip or flop hero. I don't know how to word it, but that's what you know. Yeah, she's pretty good. Like more specifically on the maps that are her. It's not even as simple as like just dive her, because if the Widow's getting like double pocketed, she will pretty much never die. You kind of need to coordinate killing somebody, or just honestly out Widow the Widow. But yeah, Widow is very, very good right now. If you hit your shots, great. If not, practice. That's all I can really say. I'm going to put Winston in A, because Winston's pretty good as a whole, but like, he just gets shut down so easily. He just can die on engage so much. Like, before you even fully engage, he just dead. Just dead Winston on the ground. Flopped Winston. So you like really, really gotta like be smart with your engages on Winston. Make sure that people can follow up on your engages, and you're not just jumping in 1v5, because that bubble is not going to save anybody. The bubble is kind of, it's not like the greatest, but it's not terrible, but yeah. Also, primal mechanics are very important down. You can easily delete somebody, not delete, but like you can wear somebody down to the point of killing them if you go with juggling and you're, again, primal mechanics. It's pretty easy to counter though, it's a matter of like playing Reaper, Roadhog, etc., Yada, Ana, all that stuff. But yeah, it's just kind of like a Winston thing. I'm gonna put Zarya in B tier. She's the first B tier, first B tier tank, I guess. Let's see, we have a tank almost every tier now. Zarya, she's not terrible, but If you really want to go Brawl tank, there's just better choices. But if you are going Zarya to like counter the D.Va, then yeah, he's good. You really need to practice your bubble mechanics, and like it's mostly the timing of the bubbles that you want to get down. Because I mean, if you just start the fight, just use your 2 bubbles off rip. Sure, you have 80 charge, but now you don't have a shield for yourself. So if you just walk in, hold W, you're just gonna fall over and just be like, wait, where's my healing? You were gonna heal, you had 475 HP and no bubbles. So Zarya is probably like the best example of a feast or famine tank. If you manage to maintain your high charge and also time your bubbles good, then yeah, Zarya is amazing. Otherwise, just run it back for all tanks. Zenyatta is just ridiculous right now. I would go as far and say he's kind of broken, especially in ranked, because Discord Orb specifically is so powerful. It's such an insane ability. You literally just make someone have 25% less HP than they normally do, just by throwing that orb on top of them. There's very little drawback to it, relatively easy to get follow-up on the discorded target, and if you discord a tank, that tank is good as dead. That tank is not able to play the game. And also, Zen himself actually has like very good damage output, like just as a whole, because if you get like a really good 5 orb across the map, you can just blade somebody. But otherwise, you just chuck his orbs and discord somebody and they just fall over. Our next hero is also S tier, Ana. Ana is also very good right now. She's really strong. She's like the most picked support right now because of the fact that anti-nade and sleep dart are such powerful cooldowns. They are really strong. If you anti the entire enemy team or even like 1 or 2 targets and you get follow up on that, you just instantly win the team fight. Like you don't even need like that much like effort done. You just anti them and they just fall over. Also, sleep dart is kind of a really important cooldown for her because it's the only non-ultimate exclusive hard stun that a support has. And I know in Season 4, Brig got a rework. We'll talk about Brig when I get to her. But yeah, Ana having that stun is very good. It's kind of easy to just sleep a tank, which despite the fact that they changed the sleep dart so that it wakes up sleeping tanks faster than other roles, it's still a really good ability. It's still just, her whole kit is just like fight winning, like including nano boost as well. So much about Ana is just very powerful. Before I forget, Trance is also just kind of like a better beat in a way because it just makes you invincible and can't be cancelled. Sights is kind of a whatever ultimate. It's not terrible, don't get me wrong, but it's not like you're gonna win the fight with Sight most of the time. We'll move on to Sombra. Sombra, I'm putting Sombra in A tier. She's really good. She's like really good right now. She's like probably, I'd say, 2nd or 3rd best DPS right now behind Tracer. She's kind of just like a better Genji in a way because her hack is such a powerful cooldown. It has so many different uses. You can hack a tank out of whatever ability they're using. You can hack a squishy and just melt them down like no tomorrow. Or you can hack someone out of their ultimate. Also, just the whole hack while invisible thing is very powerful. Her damage output isn't crazy high as a whole, but it's definitely good for like 1v1s. EMP is also kind of a fight-winning ultimate because you can chop like 40% of the enemy's health off like nothing. They can't use their abilities for a second, and you specifically can do so much more damage. And also, I should need to talk about the Sombra and Zen combo. If you discord a hack target, that target just crumbles. They fall over so quickly. It's not even funny. It is so strong. Even if you're like a tank and you get hacked, that Sombra can easily just rip you apart in a matter of seconds. So yeah, Orisa's in the same tier as Hog. Just the hero just kind of sucks. Like, she's just really bad. I think Orisa actually has the lowest win rate for all tanks. Yeah, I believe it's like in the 40s. It's in like 43, 44, 45%. It's bad. Orisa's not good. The reason she's not so good right now is because her range got nerfed a while ago. Her Fortify got nerfed a while ago. Her ultimate actually did get nerfed because of the fact that Sombra can now hack you out of your ultimate. Not even EMP, hack. Regular hack can just cancel your ultimate entirely. Like, and also because, yeah, you know, her ultimate's pretty easy to get out of. You just lose your speed out of it. The only people who have like a problem with the ultimate are like Ana and like Zen if he doesn't have trance because they have no mobility. But otherwise, the ultimate it's so bad. It's good for like re-popping Fortify, you know, make yourself tankier. But for getting kills, you're not really using Orisa to like secure picks. I mean, if you want to do the TikTok thing where you like pull someone off the map, be my guest, but that's pretty inconsistent, especially because of how many people are just playing like very high mobility heroes. And again, Zenyatta exists. Zenyatta destroys the Orisa. She just absolutely crumbles really, really hard. Honestly, the Orisa kind of has it worse against Zenyatta because her hitbox is so big, and her head hitbox specifically is just massive. Like, it's like the size of a widescreen TV. Orisa's just kind of struggling right now because she's been nerfed a lot. Doomfist. On the other hand, Doomfist is actually pretty good. Doom is actually really, really good right now because good Doomfist can just destroy lobbies. Just his whole kit, he's so mobile. Like, that's one of the greatest strengths about Doomfist. His mobility, and also just a good Doomfist, like I said before, can just roll. But again, he has very, very hard counters, such as Sombra, Mei, Zen, Ana. Just have those four, and you just ruin a Doomfist's life. But if they don't really run those heroes, Doom is kind of like, they're just kind of feasting on them. It's just kind of free. Yeah, especially when it comes to like Doom Specialists. Doom Specialists, they play Doomfist. They like Doom. I feel like Doom players are like probably one of the most dedicated players to their hero. Solid, good at what he does. He's one of the better dive tanks. He's kind of better than Winston in terms of diving. Not as good as D.Va. But yeah, Doom is just, his power block is also a really good, is a really good cooldown. Just prevent yourself from dying to like a load of burst damage. You can still get burst down or like stunned out of it, but burst damage that would normally kill you or kill someone else just wouldn't as easily. So yeah, power block, solid ability. His ultimate, a total joke. His ultimate, the worst ultimate in the game. Meteor Strike is so, like, the only reason you even use Meteor Strike anymore is because in, I think it was like the beginning of season 3, it was either the middle of season 2, or it was around season 2 or season 3. They made it so that Doom's power up punch would be regained when using his ultimate. So like, you use your ultimate, you come back down, you have your punch. But otherwise, that ultimate is, it's a joke, because even heroes with like 0 mobility could just walk away from it before you get there. Like, it's rough. Going on to Moira. Moira, I'm gonna put in B tier. She's a lot better now. Not a lot better, but like, she's better now because she got buffed at the beginning of season 4. Because her healing lasts longer when her primary healing, and also her coalescence got buffed in the sense of blessing. So they kind of just made coalescence like a lot easier to use because you can kind of dodge the things that would normally cancel your ultimate, like Hog Hook, Sleep Dart, Hack, Nurse Javelin, stuff like that. You just fade out of it. Her damage output isn't terrible, but it's not as good as a lot of people think. Her DPS is like 50, but if you're playing against people that just don't have their monitor on, like, or they're just not paying attention to what's going on, you could just kill everyone. When you start like climbing up the ranks, people are gonna be a little more aware of how to deal with them. Where they're gonna start counter swapping you to like Winston, or be able to put a person down better. D.Va, get your orbs, etc., etc. She's solid, just not like the best support. Brig, I'm going to put Brig in A tier. Brig is really good right now. Her ultimate got reworked, so she has a bigger shield, physically and health-wise. She can stun while in her ultimate now, which is very scary. I remember I had, there was this time I was in a team fight and I canceled 2 ultimates within one team fight, which just goes to show how strong Brig is with her ultimate. But like, it's not like crazy good, but the fact that you can still give your teammates overhealth, you basically get a burst heal as an ultimate, but for a shield increase from, it's like 300 to like 650. It's the same as like a Winston bubble, which is wild to think about. But in the neutral fight, Brig is okay. Her armor pack range got reduced from 30 to 25 meters. Yeah, she's not as good as keeping up with certain things in the middle, but like, she's really good if you're playing against dive heroes like Winston, D.Va, Tracer, like Genji. If those heroes are giving you a hard time on support, Brig is a completely fine hero to pick. Just don't go running it down mid on Brig, holding your shield up, using your mace like wherever you can, like a mini Reinhardt, because that is a very outdated and dead way to play Brig. The way you play Brig now is more so just like, you're basically just babysitting your other support so that they don't die or they don't get flanked as easily. So you like boop boy the Genji, you boop boy the Winston, or they can engage onto your other support. She's just very, very powerful what she does. Wrecking Ball. I'm gonna put Wrecking Ball in A tier as well. I'd say Wrecking Ball is one of the better dive heroes because of how they buffed him in season 3, where he has shield health now. and his mines deploy faster, and also his pile driver's on a shorter cooldown. All is pretty good, but, keyword but, he gets very hard countered by heroes like Mei, Sombra, Zenyatta, Brigitte, Bastion. Him and Doomfist are in very similar boats of their counters. Like a good Mei can just shut down a Wrecking Ball completely, or a good Sombra can just make it so that ball just not do anything. Like pretty much forces him to swap or play around the Sombra, or like counter the Sombra themselves, or good ball players can like spy check and deal with the Sombra themselves. But if it's like a combination of Sombra and Mei specifically, you are going to have a very rough time playing Wrecking Ball into their team composition. Doesn't matter what the rest of the team runs, just those two DPS alone just shut you down. And again, same with Doomfist, in terms of just being shut down so heavily. His ultimate's actually not bad. Activates faster, which is actually they have less reaction time to your ultimate. Ball's in a pretty good spot right now. He's not like the best tank in the game. He's a very strong contender for second best tank in ranked right now because of how self-sufficient he is, because he has such high mobility, because you could, with his high mobility, you could just move around one health pack to another, engage, get out, get a health pack, go back in, rinse and repeat. Get ranked, which is what this tier list is mostly aimed at. Ashe, honestly, A tier. Ashe is really, really good right now. She got like a bug fix, quote unquote, at the beginning of Season 4 where she doesn't gain ult charge from using Bob, but that really doesn't hurt her viability too heavily. Like, she's still really good at medium to like longish ranges. Her dynamite is still really good. Her coach gun is a pretty good anti-dive tool. Move them away from you, or like increase the gap so you can just get some shots in. Bob is still a great ultimate because that's just a free player on the team, and you mostly want to use Bob either contesting point or putting him in the enemy backline, so they have to either turn around and look at Bob or kind of just ignore him and die. I'm gonna put Baptiste in B tier. Bap's pretty solid right now. He's one of the better brawl supports to play. Immortality got buffed a while ago, so he's good. It's just Ana's just kind of better right now because she has hard CC and because she has an anti-heal. She's just really, really good. And Bap kind of doesn't have these things. He has Immortality, which is very powerful, of course, and Window is an incredible ultimate that can come online very, very quickly, but Ana's just stronger. And even in like brawl mirrors, playing Ana with like Nano Boost is such a strong ultimate because not only does it provide damage increase like Bap Window, it also just increases damage reduction. They don't even take as much damage, but I mean the healing intake isn't increased like how it would be for Bap Window. But yeah, Bap is good, don't get me wrong. If you play him, you're gonna do fine. He still does a lot of damage with his primary fire. He's just kind of outclassed. But Sigma, I'm also gonna put in B tier. He got nerfed in the beginning of Season 4. His accretion does less damage. It went from 100 damage to 80 damage, but it does stun for longer. So that's neat, I guess. The stun increase is kind of inconsequential when you can't even do the one-shot combination anymore that you would be able to in the beginning of Overwatch 2 and up until now. You can still technically do a one-shot combo. It's just instead of 2 primary fires and a rock, it's 2 primary fires, a rock, and a melee. So now if you want to do the one-shot, you have to be in their face, which isn't really as good for Sigma. Sigma is still like the best poke tank right now, just kind of objectively speaking, because most of the time you're going to run Sigma on maps like Havana, Junkertown, wherever it may be. And Flux is still a crazy good ultimate. It's still really good for getting people off cart, for securing picks in the air, or something it may be. It's just a good ultimate. It's probably one of the better tank ultimates as a whole, but that nerf to his one-shot just did numbers on him. And it's not even like that. There's just other factors too that just kind of hurt Sigma's viability a little bit, just mostly with dive heroes being strong, Sommer being really good, Mei being strong, because Mei's primary fire can ignore Sigma's his kinetic grasp. I'm moving Echo in A tier. Echo is very, very good right now because most of the hit scans in the game aren't as good, or like they're kind of squishier in Widow's case. Ashe, her viability did hurt a little bit with Bob getting nerfed. You know, Widow's HP going down from 200 to 175. Cassidy got nerfed. Soldier is not that great at taking down specifically a pocketed Echo. Echo is just really good. She has a lot of burst damage. Her focus beam is just very strong for like finishing off targets. Duplicate is a very powerful and tactile ultimate. Just do a lot with. Slap a Mercy Pocket on that Echo and she will pretty much run the lobby. Its scans like are just crazy good on your team. But all in all, Echo's just kind of like a better Pharah in a way. And also, funnily enough, she's actually really good against Pharah in the air because Pharah's hitbox in the air is actually, it's pretty big. Compared to Echo's more slender hitbox, I'm gonna move Sojourn also in the A tier. She can't do the normal one-shot anymore, but she almost can, because a headshot full charge from a railgun does 195. You just do like a primary fire or like a melee and they die. Damage from Sojourn is still very, very powerful to go against. It's kind of a menace, but with the influx of like, you know, more divey heroes and less Roadhog being played, Roadhog and Reinhardt being played, it's just like she's good. She's really, really good, especially at what she does. But she's not like the dominating force that she was in season 1. Junker Queen, I'm gonna move Junker Queen to B tier. She's one of the better Brawl, but she does kind of just get really shut down by mostly Zenyatta, Kiriko, and Ana. Her Mei is pretty solid to her. Reaper honestly is not even bad to her. Bastion's pretty good. Pharah is okay to her. But or Widow's pretty good to her too, because she sucks at range. A good queen in the right hands can just dominate. Or like if they don't swap to counter you very quickly, a queen will just run house. Because queen's counters aren't really that good right now. Zarya's okay. She's in the same tier as queen herself, funnily enough. Ryan isn't as good. Orisa's really not good. If you have an idea of what you're doing, you can definitely get a lot of value out of her. Just master her knife pull, you can definitely get some good stuff with that. Or like a good rampage. Next up, we got Kiriko. Shocker, Suzu is still an insane ability. Kitsune Rush is still an insane ultimate. Honestly, the reason Junker Queen is in B tier is because of Kiriko. Like, if Kiriko didn't cleanse, Junker Queen would probably be like a lot better, because anti-healing is just so powerful. But since Kiriko has Protection Suzu, which cleanses, she just undoes everything. Kiriko is just the hard counters queen with her ultimate. She also cancels her bleed. You know, pretty good. Also, Kiriko, as a hero, is kind of like one of the only ways you can really answer on an anti-nade. Like, think about it. What else can you do if you're naded? Hope your Zarya bubbles you, and if you're playing Zarya, bubble yourself. That's kind of it. Besides Kiriko. But now Kiriko, very good against Ana. Ana, Zen, and Kiriko are kind of like the trinity of best supports right now, with Brig being like a very powerful fourth. Yeah, no. Kitsune Rush is still really good ultimate, especially like when it comes to helping your team build their ults faster too, because you know, increased fire rate. So yeah, Kiriko S tier just feels right. Next up, we'll have Ramatra. I'm putting Ramatra in S because he's like the only tank that can actually like withstand a lot of the brutal stuff that tanks deal with. Like anti-nade, discord, hack, Mei freeze, Mei slow, Bastion turret form to an extent. Just Ramatra's Nemesis form with his block specifically is so strong. The block is such a powerful tool. If you just like block a lot, but don't block like 24/7, because then you're just a sitting duck. You gotta learn when to block, or like mostly save block for like incoming burst damage, or if you're like anti-naded, if you're like discorded, or if you're like getting slowed down by Mei, whatever it may be. Like a Bastion turret, saving block is really good, but also you do have your Nemesis form up, you basically just gain a ton of armor and pummel pretty much. Yeah, also Annihilation is kind of still a very powerful ultimate. It can basically either clear teams away from point or kill them all. Kind of get caught in it. And specifically low ranks, people will just like not respond to Annihilation. So in like the lower elos, Ramatra ult and then just kill everyone. But it's like there are counters to it. Like Lucio Speed is pretty good against it. LOSing is also really good. Like Maywall. But yeah, just no, Ram is the reason he's S again, because he can just withstand so much. It's like 5 people. And last but not least, Lifeweaver, the newest hero. This hero is terrible. He's really, really, really bad. Like, his hitbox is huge. His healing output is far too slow for a charging heal. His ultimate is kind of useless. It's kind of just like budget Transcendence. With like, it can provide LOS. Yeah. His dash is kind of negligible, but his life grip is actually pretty solid. And his flower petals are pretty good. But those really do need like very coordinated teams to really be able to pull off. So yeah, until this hero gets a rework, he is going to be the worst hero in the game right now. Him and Hog are kind of tied for like bottom 2, but Life Weaver just kind of edges him out in terms of being the worst. Because he's just, oh, that man has so many fundamental problems with this kit. But yeah, that's my tier list for Season 4 of Overwatch 2. Remember, you can pretty much get away with using pretty much any of these heroes here, except Life Weaver, honestly. I'm, like, mostly Roadhog. But most of these heroes, again, you can use and get a lot of value out of. Like, even the heroes in C and D are still, like, they still have their niches. But, you know, the heroes in S and A are, like, mostly what you want to go for. But in, like, Bronze or something, you could easily just go Moira, just go to their backline, kill them, then get out. That is it for this video. I hope you all enjoyed this different way of doing things. So, yeah, see ya.